saw it coming.
Now I'm in a free fall with nothing to hold on to. Racing for the end, praying for the wind to slow down the feeling and let me somewhere new. Step down the ground, it's coming soon. Wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, words dripping from my lips like forbidden honey. Heart in your stomach on the verge of running. Deep down you probably always saw it coming, but I thought I could let go, dodging echoes. Deep down I probably always saw it coming. I think I saw it coming, but it was too much to say, too much to face down. Save face and hope it would work out. Play it safe and hope that you come around. Now it's too much to take, too much to figure out. Checkmate, nothing to say now. Dead weight, we're on the way down. Now I'm in a free fall with nothing to hold on to. Racing for the end, praying for the wind to slow down the feeling and let me somewhere new. Step down the ground, it's coming soon. Wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, wishing I could just free fall into you. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It is Thursday somehow. Charlie 3277, good to see you. Let me just say hi to I'll say hi to the Rumble chat and see everywhere else. Nonstop Sherry, Salion, Nana Marty, Mark for America, Swim Chick. Good to see you all. Ultra Mega Pat, again, thank you for the verse. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false prophets have gone out into the world. Good afternoon again, Mark, Sherry, Cam Skater, 1708. Who else I got in here? Did I miss anyone? Not yet, but we are on YouTube again still today. So very exciting. Hopefully we won't be banned there. Joe is still very sick. So again, apologies for him not being here. If you all came here to see Joe, he says that he misses you all. So just keep giving him some prayers so that he feels better. And of course, keep praying for Tina Peters and for our great president and all those who are working to help the American people. So we're going to talk about some stuff today. We've talked a lot about education on this show before. And man, things are just getting so weird. You know what I mean? So today we're going to talk about education. There was also an explosion, a lot of interesting stuff going on because it's 2025, which means all bets are off, right? It certainly does seem like that. I would love to say that I know what's going to happen next week, but I don't. Things are certainly moving quickly, but looking forward to all of you back on here. Cannonball, how you doing? Good to see you there in the chat as well. Limboss, I think I said hi to you. But anyways, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. And again, say some prayers for Joe on this episode of Untamed.
Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
All right, everybody. So, I'm not Joe Altman, am I? I forget who I am some days. But anyways, the fun continues. The fun continues. So again, welcome back. I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat again today. I try to do a little bit. It's actually easier for me sometimes when I'm live because I don't have to worry about cameras on that side and different stuff. So sometimes it's easier for me to focus on different things when I'm at my own pace. But again, we have shutdowns. Shutdowns, the name of the game now. Apparently, we're back talking about shutdowns, and as usual, they're using it for all kinds of political cheerleading and their different games that they like to toss around while they pretend that they're doing something for any of us. A lot of theater. We're used to theater. So that is what it is. Now, again, remember that it was, a couple years ago, they were complaining and yelling at all the conservatives over shutdowns. And now we have, of course, them yelling about the same things. It's funny, everything that they were doing is now Trump's fault, yet again. I was trying to blame him. And the same back and forth. First one side does it, now the other does. But Adam Schiff, if you recall, he lamented in 2023, I think this was from, that employees would not get their paychecks, that the military service members, that they would be forced to go to work and not get paid. Because, Chuck Schumer really cares about people, in case you guys didn't know. Let's take a listen to him, though.
Had the government shut down, hundreds of thousands of people would have not gotten their paychecks. Federal employees would have been furloughed, sent home. Others deemed essential, like TSA workers, they would have been forced to go to work and not paid. Service members in the military would be forced to go to work and not get paid.
Wow, man. Wow, man. Here is Senator Tim Kaine also complaining about this.
I'm a senator from Virginia. Some of the hardest effects of shutdown will be seen in my state, and they're already starting. Even before we get to midnight on Saturday, September 30, my office has been flooded with more than 600 constituent comments expressing their concerns about government shutdown. And what I'd like to do, Mr. President, is just share some of the stories that I'm hearing from Virginians. April from Orange County writes, quote, "My husband is a member of the Army Reserves and he's preparing for deployment to Africa next year. His training has been delayed due to funding with the close of the fiscal year, and shutdown will certainly delay the training even further." So what does that mean? Do you deploy without adequate training, or is the deployment date changed? Families have planned around this. Employers have planned around this. A government shutdown affects April and her family. Jennifer from Norfolk writes, "My husband is a U.S. Marine veteran who utilizes the VA. A government shutdown places an undue financial and emotional burden on my family." Kelsey from Harrisonburg wrote, quote, "My parents, along with two friends, are on a 7-week post-retirement celebration camping trip to visit national parks. The park closure would significantly affect this trip."
I love to throw back, to all these fine people who care so much. This next is from Amy Klobuchar.
Shutdowns are not good for the economy.
All right, that's all for that one. Not good for the economy, she says. What have these people done for the economy? Bernie talked about these shutdowns.
The truth is that shutting down the government is a serious and dangerous action that we must do everything possible to prevent. Shutting down the government would impact tens of millions of our fellow Americans who would be unable to access government services. It would severely impact federal employees who would not get the paychecks they expected. It would also have a very significant impact on our armed forces. In other words, we must do everything that we can to prevent a government shutdown.
We must do everything that we can. It's funny to see the political discourse on this too. It's been now how long we've had threatens to shut it down, let it shut down. We're going to let it shut down. We can't have a shutdown because people will suffer. I wonder if the people they're talking about, the federal workers, are some of these people who've been let go by Doge, the ones who lost their minds when they were asked to relay 5 things that they did that week or whatever. Ron Johnson had something to say about this, saying the only way to avoid a shutdown, they're very costly. Democrats ought to support it. If they don't, it's the Democrats' fault. So we're blaming parties again.
This is the only way to avoid a shutdown. Shutdowns are very costly, so I will support this, and Democrats ought to support this as well. If they don't, this is completely on their backs. They will be blamed. They should be blamed for a shutdown. They're the ones shutting down the government, not Republicans.
Okay. And of course, we have Trump commenting on this as well.
If it shuts down, it's not the Republicans' fault. We passed a bill where we had an incredible Republican vote. We only had one negative vote, a grandstander, one grandstander. There's always a grandstander in the lot. But it was amazing. People were amazed that the Republicans were able to vote in unison like that, so strongly. If there's a shutdown, even the Democrats admit it'll be their fault. And I'm hearing a lot of Democrats are going to vote for it, and I hope they do. This is an extension. But ultimately, we want to vote for one big, beautiful bill where we put the taxes in, we put everything in. We're going to have big tax cuts. We're going to have tremendous incentives for companies coming into our country and employing lots of people. It'll be, I called it, in a rare moment, one big, beautiful bill. That's what I like, and it seems to be that's where they're heading.
All right, now there's, of course, a lot of back and forth about what's in the bill. Some of the biggest criticisms, it's just the same thing. Same thing from the last administration. This, of course, tied in very much with what, Massey and him, there's this argument with him and Rand Paul. And people are saying, oh my God, now we have to vote Massey. And I totally disagree with Trump. And I'm not really going to get into that right now, because I don't really think it's all that important, if I'm being honest with you. Not right now at this particular moment. But really, I see like 2 major things. Is one, you either have a bunch of people who just say, no, Trump is wrong. And then there are the people who say Trump can't be wrong. And then there are the people who say Massey is super trustworthy and suddenly more so than Trump. And it all feels a little bit juvenile to me. And again, to me, it sounds like they're trying to align people. Now, do I trust Massey as much as President Trump? No. Certainly not. Should you? Probably not. Does that mean that Trump's always right? No. Does that mean that Trump doesn't get bad advice? No. But at this point, I'm not really sure what people are fighting over. We have a new administration. They're playing the exact same games. Now they're trying to blame Republicans. If things shut down, they're trying to blame the Democrats if things shut down. And realistically, like, what do you, the American people, benefit from this spectacle that we see, where all these people get up there and grandstand? I will agree with that word. A lot of grandstanding, or these campaigning performances, which is really all I think that this is. We see more campaigning. That's what I think most of these people are doing the majority of the time, that they sit up there and tell them, or tell the people and argue with each other, and very scripted, exchanges about what needs to happen and why this is wrong. And we're playing Democrat versus Republicans. But again, not really so much for the American people. You have some of these people referencing that. But now we have a shutdown. I mean, is Doge going to do the work? I feel as if we see a lot of things happening and a lot of things being said, and we're not getting a lot of results that, most people were hoping for with this new administration so far. I think Emerald had a post out. Hey, how are you feeling about the beginning of this administration? We have Epstein, we have RFK, we have JFK, we have all these files. We don't have prosecutions. Now, this is one of the things, regarding what I was talking about yesterday. Ultra mega Pat, Elon will carry on. He doesn't get paid anyway. Yep. But, I talked about all these people defending Tate yesterday. Now, there's a difference between the, what Natalie was talking about. Do we wait for the justice and for the prosecutions? When we were talking about these people, there's a clear distinction between making your judgments based upon what people do and the presumption of innocence, which is bastardized in both directions whenever it serves whatever interests are discussing it. And, when the interested parties are involved, and the wheels of justice that actually roll out, which we see very slowly as actual justice through a court system in our government. That has certainly been the case. Now, are we going to see things done in a way that's going to really benefit the country? We will see. That process is going to be slower. But people do tell you who they are. Now, again, when we talk about some of these things, we have some interesting stuff with protests. And of course, the weight of law enforcement seems to be treated differently. So we'll go through some of these things. There are left-leaning universities protesting. They have been for quite some time. You've seen a lot of these things pop up. A lot of them with interesting, funding is what typically seems to be the case. Very much like some of these other movements that we've seen over the last number of years. Columbia University being one of them. And a student named Mahmoud Khalil was arrested during the protests and is now facing deportation. And of course, as you can expect, you have the, let's see, where is it? You have the usual reactions and nonsense to some of this. So we'll take, where's this from? This was from where? Someone on X. Let's take a look at this video.
We're not talking to the president. Excuse us. Can you hear?
So some of this protest activity, this is what you just saw, is this Mahmoud Khalil engaging in protest activity where they took over Barnard College. And then there was literature and other things left behind, of course. This is allegedly what they did to Columbia University. Here's the cut. So, typical, totally protected speech. Here are some images. This guy is this video of this suspected foreign national, right? This dude right here. Of course, this is your standard peaceful protesting. Looks like death to America. That's cool. After they took over these colleges. Our narrative. Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. Very exciting. Looks like you see some imperialism and stuff back there. It's happy stuff. Typical. You just saw some of what they did. Now, after he was arrested, some of these fine people, they showed up unlawfully at Trump Tower. And they took over Trump Tower in New York by force, have overtaken the first floor, won't leave, chanting, "Free them all." So let's take a look. Okay, so again, let's take a look. We have Columbia University, allegedly. Okay, so fine people. Now, I believe New York City police here warning them to leave or they will face arrest. Shocking.
You are occupying these premises unlawfully and without permission. I am ordering you to leave these premises now. If you refuse to leave, you may be subject to arrest. This is the New York City Police Department. You are occupying these premises unlawfully and without permission. I am ordering you to leave these premises now. If you refuse to leave, you may be subject to arrest.
You know, this is kind of funny. Do you guys remember when they in New York City were arresting people for COVID? Now, would love to know where these people are getting their funding. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is not just a grassroots group of people who are now taking over Trump Tower after destroying university property and taking over those facilities for the purpose of demanding the release of a foreign national. Very, very peculiar. But man, I'm glad that the now, yeah, I know there could be some political reasons to not be so harsh, but do you see how they act demanding that these people leave Trump Tower? Again, contrast this. Yes, perhaps, new case, perhaps. Keep True over on Pilled. Good to see you. Roll one now. Over on Pilled, they're trespassing. Trump needs to bring in National Guard and arrest them for trespassing and domestic terrorists. Well, he doesn't need to do anything. But you know, now we have the foreign national card being played here. Contrast this with them body slamming minors for not wearing masks and like dragging them out of of restaurants because they were violating COVID protocols. But I mean, hey, I'm glad that they are now peacefully requesting in a bullhorn that they should get out of Trump Tower or be arrested. I mean, you know, it is private property, I would assume. But hey, you know, I'm pretty sure that's what trespassing means. Hey, Jews say do not comply. No Muslim ban. Opposing fascism is a Jewish tradition. Never again, nor anymore. I think is or what some of these signs read. Okay. This is an interesting little protest stop. Rubio was someone tried to corner him to ask him about this.
President Trump appealed to a lot of Americans during his campaign on free speech arguments and not suppressing speech, especially from the government. But your revocation of the green card, to many, is seen as one of the most anti-speech actions a secretary could take with his powers. How do you respond?
Yeah, I mean, when you enter the...
Okay, and again, so they're losing their minds, right? Because this guy's locked up. They all want him released. And now we have free speech. And they're really upset that this guy's green card is being revoked. So we'll see. What does Rubio say?
Yeah, I mean, when you enter this is an important point, and I'm glad you asked this question. When you come to the United States as a visitor, which is what a visa is, which is how this individual entered this country, on a visitor's visa, okay, you are here as a visitor. We can deny you that visa. We can deny you that if you tell us when you apply, hi, I'm trying to get into the United States on a student visa. I am a big supporter of Hamas, a murderous, barbaric group that kidnaps children, that rapes teenage girls, that takes hostages, that allows them to die in captivity, that returns more bodies than live hostages. If you tell us that you are in favor of a group like this, and if you tell us when you apply for your visa, and by the way, I intend to come to your country as a student, and rile up all kinds of anti-Jewish student, anti-Semitic activities. I intend to shut down your universities. If you told us all these things when you applied for a visa, we would deny your visa. I hope we would. If you actually end up doing that, once you're in this country on such a visa, we will revoke it. And if you end up having a green card, not citizenship, but a green card as a result of that visa while you're here in those activities, we're going to kick you out. It's as simple as that. This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason. But I think being a supporter of Hamas and coming into our universities and turning them upside down and being complicit in what are clearly crimes of vandalization, complicit in shutting down learning institutions. There are kids at these schools that can't go to class You pay all this money to these high-priced schools that are supposed to be of great esteem, and you can't even go to class. You're afraid to go to class because these lunatics are running around with covers on their face, screaming terrifying things. If you told us that's what you intended to do when you came to America, we would have never let you in. And if you do it once you get in, we're going to revoke it and kick you out.
I mean, this should be common sense. I remember, back close to 10 years ago now, when they were having all these Trump sit-ins, anti-Trump sit-ins. If you were in university or, at probably, I would say most schools, back before the first term and during, it's very disruptive. I didn't see anything where I was that was quite this destructive at the time, because they were still pretending that they were just like good people who opposed the bad fascism. But there were a bunch of students, and they would all show up, and some of them non-students. They would show up, block the entire main hall, so people couldn't go to class. It was more of an annoyance. You'd see a lot of people kind of shy away. I was one of the deplorables, I'm sure, as they considered, because I would just look at these people. I'm like, okay, I need to get through here, and then you just step, between them and walk through with a scoff or like a half smirk on your face because these people are ridiculous. And they're saying a bunch of silly rhetoric while they're cheering for war criminals, as the correct alternative. Always some of the greatest irony for me. But we've just now had the media pretend that they want to cover USAID now that Doge and the investigations into where all this spending is going and people digging into it haven't gone public in a major way. Specifically regarding, foreign dollars and embezzlement of our money going back to fund media and probably protests. Now, how many of these dollars are Soros or some of these other losers? Who knows? But this is quite literally violent demonstrations of speech, destructive demonstrations of speech, and rather directly targeted at the sitting president of the United States. Murph, what did Murph say? Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, who cares? Who cares about that? Scuttlebutt, why occupy Trump Tower? It's a business not involved with their bullshit. What about starving people? It's Bolshevism and assassinating czars as tradition. Oh, my goodness. Anytime they wear the same t-shirt as being funded. Yeah, I mean, that's probably generally a good rule of thumb. Of course, there are legitimate protests, but you see them all organized like that. What is the purpose of going in there? What do these people think that they're actually doing? Now, you go back to the money laundering. The shovel face actually posted some links. Because since they're talking about, funding, Rubio had a decent response to that actually about about these kids who are here to learn and about not letting these people come in the first place. They said that they were going to engage in behavior like this. This is kind of like the whole, a derivative of the dreamer idea as well, that they're all just really fine people and we need to save them all. And we're horrible humans if we don't let in everybody over our borders, including from all these countries that do not in any way treat us reciprocally, including those on both sides of the border. I mean, you as an American citizen can't walk across to Canada and say, hey, I just walked across and they're cool with you. Can't do that in Mexico unless you work for the CIA. It looks like they have deleted one of these, but one of them from a year ago, and this is Colombia, by the way, where they have all these fine people protesting so peacefully. The warning to applicants from undergrad. I like the subreddit a lot, but I'm noticing a trend in applications, namely heavy emphasis on applying to schools with undergrad prestige without strong programs. One particularly egregious example is Colombia. However, as a junior in CS, it's surprising how many students join engineering every year and struggle to find employment. The program, reaching acceptance rates up to 30%, is seen by others as an exploitation of the university's reputation to draw in international students that pay them on the highest tuition for similar programs. Statistics reflect this, and then links to Columbia saying, in fact, that, Morningside graduate professional programs, and you see, broken down. This is from their university. You have 53% of them being non-U.S. residents. I mean, this has been commented on a lot. Again, we have a big problem with a lot of these programs. One of the comments in there was talking about, the number of Chinese nationals as well. I mean, it's not a huge secret that the CCP has been funding a lot of these student programs, including like pre-military academies and things like that. And it raises serious questions, especially considering a lot of the people that we know have been coming over the southern border, let alone the northern one. Then we have the Chinese drones and all the things up in Canada, which on record they're flying those. But we have to look at this administration too. How do you define America first? I mean, there was a big uproar about this with the, students. Elon got involved and said, "I'll die for that program." We talk about some of these employees, including those who were at X. And how do you balance prioritizing Americans with, maintaining a nation that is competitive? But clearly we have big programs or big problems. And again, where's the money coming from? I mean, this is not like normal behavior, short of some of the CIA operations that we saw at universities with, all their drugs and music and hippie stuff and war things that we know now were programs. This one a bit more blatant, though. Now, are we going to see some kind of stronger response? I don't necessarily agree they need to just call it the National Guard. I think that should not be something that just happens for a bunch of idiots who show up, ripping up universities necessarily. But there should be some kind of response. Again, when do the general people here in the United States, when do the citizens, when do the students who had their rights violated, were told to go home, were told to shut up, they had to get their shot, lost classes, had to leave the universities, had to drop out of programs, were actually arrested, were assaulted in and out of universities, both in the public and otherwise, because they didn't go along with COVID lockdowns, or they didn't wear masks. I would like to see some, justice response to this, maybe some investigation into some of these things. Personally, I'm rather tired of seeing all of this display, and then we see people in the media get on and just say the same stuff. All right, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a minute.
Are you looking for monthly income without risks of stocks? Here's something you won't hear on CNBC. There's a unique way to collect royalties directly from America's most productive oil fields. No exploring, no drilling, no operating headaches. You simply collect checks month after month. The best part? You can get started with just $25 through any brokerage account. The Oxford Club Chief Income Strategist, Mark Lichtenfeld, breaks down what he believes is the #1 oil royalty plan for 2025. Visit oilboom2025.com now to learn more. That's oilboom2025.com. Stop buying oil stocks and start collecting oil royalty checks instead.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Untamed. But I don't know. Some of you guys are making me laugh in the comments. Over on Pilled, Roll One Now says, doesn't Barron Trump live there? I don't know. I mean, yeah, how well do you actually know where any of these people live? But in other interesting news, there has been a explosion at Texas Tech in a substation, so we're told. According to Lubbock Fire Rescue and Texas Tech president, there were no injuries at the explosion on Wednesday night. Representative Matt Rose said they're still taking it seriously. Power has been restored as of this morning, but the university remains closed, and students were sent home on spring break. They have asked employees not to return to campus to get their belongings. And emergency services and fire marshals said they experienced several below-grade vault failures with transformers. Kennan said the transformer vaults that caused the issue are separate from the tunnel system that runs to all the buildings on campus at this moment, but he said the fire transformer faults had failed. I found this a little bit interesting because there are some serious tunnels under there. So this, some weird looking green flames. Here's a different angle. I mean, slightly funny. I don't know how often you guys see green flames popping out of the ground. I feel like we've had some instances of this in the past, but bunch of smoke, all kinds of smoke. Not all the flames are green. This is another video And then another fire. This was coming out of a different manhole.
Well, I'll be damned.
Oh?
So there goes fucking Murray. That guy better, yeah.
God.
It's hot. There's no one behind us. Maybe shut it off. Oh shit. Oh my.
So very entertaining. These this smoke looks almost purple. I don't know, different color. You can see here. It's not all green. No, there could be a number of causes for colored smoke like that. But again, they did mention these tunnels, and it is not just a couple tunnels. There's a lot of tunnels under this thing. Here's an article about these tunnels. This is on TTU Hub, posted like 10 years ago. And it's titled, Ever Wondered What's Underneath Tech? Beneath the feet of Texas Tech University, students walk, but there's an entirely different part of the campus, underground tunnels. A sprawling underground maze between 9 and 12 miles long, connecting 90 buildings roughly. Set a format with the Texas Tech physical plant development. Underground world is responsible for carrying most of the campus utilities, fiber optic cables, steamed and chilled water, telephone lines. When a new building is added, a decision must be made if the new structure will be tied to the university's central heating and cooling plant, where the system's magic begins. So let's take a quick tour of this tunnel system. Here is, for all of you who want to take a look, one map, supposedly from inside these tunnels. A rather elaborate system. But let's take a look inside and hear what they have to say for themselves about this tunnel system.
This is where we're at right here.
This is Texas Tech's Central Heating and Cooling Plant.
That's CHAP 1.
Or CHACP, but the locals just call it CHAP. One of those locals is John Gallant. He's the utility plant operator of the CHAP facilities. John is shy. He didn't want to wear a microphone, so you won't be hearing much more from him. Which brings us back to Benny Smallwood.
Y'all see a light switch?
Benny is not shy. Our camera guys just had a tough time getting him in focus because his job is to tend to the dark hallways of Texas Tech's campus.
The CHAP 1, the plant, they create the steam and the chill water. And my responsibility is once it leaves their walls, it's mine.
In simple terms, Benny takes care of something that students regularly discuss but rarely visit. The tunnel system beneath Texas Tech's campus. But to better understand the purpose of those tunnels, it's best to take you back to where that steam and chilled water is created. Back to the CHAP, which for those of you that are wondering, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I mean, the heating and cooling plant. It's across the street from the rec center. The heating process is a circular system. The plant generates superheated steam, sends it through campus, warming the buildings. Then the steam is returned to CHAP to go through the process all over again. A control panel to make sure each boiler, which has a 25-year lifespan, is working properly.
The big line back there in the back is the steam that's going out to the campus.
So after the steam goes out into the campus and heats all the buildings, it comes back as condensed water. Right here they drop all the water, to cool it down and go back through the process all over again.
Filter for chill water.
The cooling process also functions as a circular system.
So this is one of the chillers in the plant. Water comes in at about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and it goes through a process, cools it down. By the end, it leaves at about 36 degrees Fahrenheit, goes around campus, cools campus, all the buildings on campus. It comes back at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the process starts all over again.
This here is what we call the Wiggins Tunnel.
Benny only showed us one of the newer tunnels underneath campus.
Y'all are kind of getting to see more of the Cadillac stuff.
Most of the tunnels, he says, are more narrow and not well ventilated.
The tunnel system carries all utilities for the campus. Your chill water, your steam for heat, your compressed air, your fiber optics.
So this is where the chilled water goes out to campus, Bill Hub right here, and then down here is where the water comes back into the cooling plant and is recooled, sent back out through this pipe.
Pipes tie the steam and chilled water into each building.
This tie-in is telling us it's at the Aquatic Center.
In the summer, the chilled water is used to air condition the 90-plus buildings on campus.
You know, we use the steam for mostly comfort heat, building heat, humidification, buildings that have autoclaves and stuff for experiments and science, you know.
Before Benny kicked us out of his tunnel,
why don't we go back, like I say, because
we asked him the unanswered question.
All right, so before I pick up that video again, they have all these tunnels for comfort heat. No, I mean, like, you know, the green flames. Yeah, and I see some of you commenting too. Yeah, can be copper fire. There's a few things that could cause green flames. You know, I've seen people, you know, discussing, oh, boron, borax, this, that, the other thing. Copper, probably most likely. Assuming that some other weird stuff is going on. But why do they have all this thing, like this massive system, so that they can heat the buildings all over the campus? I don't know that I buy that. Sorry. Let's go back.
You know, we use the steam for mostly comfort heat, building heat, humidification, buildings that have autoclaves and stuff for experiments and science, you know.
Before Benny kicked us out of his tunnel,
why don't we go back, like I say, because
we asked him the unanswered question. Where are the ghosts?
What have you heard?
I've heard the same.
Okay, so I don't know about where are the ghosts, but he did say real quick right there. If you heard after, he mentioned, oh yeah, all the water is for comfort heat. He said this.
Claves and stuff for experiments and science, you know.
Experiments? What kind of experiments, man? What kind of experiments are you doing? I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're probably not using that infrastructure and like 12 miles of tunnels just to keep their students warm. That doesn't check out in my brain. If somebody is, you know, a brilliant engineer and can tell me why, if you guys are in the comments, I'll be looking, why they need a tunnel system like that and such a setup for comfort heat, please tell me. Maybe I'm simply too stupid. I just don't know that I buy that one. Comfort heat doesn't. They've got to superheat all the water, and then it goes out to the entire campus to keep everybody nice and warm, and then it all comes back to their giant tunnel system so that they can keep the students warm. This whole video kind of makes me laugh a little bit. So I don't know what kind of facilities they are in fact running. But who knows? Who knows? But we have green flames erupting while there's giant protests going on. Maybe they've been doing some weird stuff with some of this money that they've been funneling all over the place. I know that it was, I believe, the same university. There was a, I don't know where the article went. I think it was the same university that was working on, it was back in 2023, they were reporting on, I'm trying to find the article, researchers who were developing AI that could read minds. And it was focused on like translating brain activity and brain waves into a continuous stream of text. I wish I hadn't lost that. But it was a news release. I think it was around the summer of 2023. And it was using the press release was talking about AI reading minds, basically. And I believe it was at the same university. Now, you know, if you're running a shit ton of compute and a lot of equipment underneath in 12-mile-long tunnels underneath the university, that would make more sense to me, requiring that much amount of water and power than making all the kids comfortable by pushing all the superheated steam and stuff through pipes all over 90 buildings on campus. I don't know. Nuke says you wouldn't need superheated steam for anything. Used for sidewalk thawing in schools where snow is frequent to stop ice. Gammy says experiments to see if red farts smell more than green farts. Yeah, who knows, man? They probably are getting money for that. I also worked in the tunnels at Georgia Tech. They had steam too. Nuke says they don't, but Georgia Tech had to have a place to use the steam for their small nuclear reactor they used to have. Heated sidewalks cause more problems than it fixed. Yeah, those are not easy things to maintain and keep running unless they're done really, really well. And even then, expensive proposition. Best is yet to come. Apollo, please send Joe my prayers. Hope he feels better soon. I'm sure he's stressed out. Let him know that we care. I will. And he might be listening. So, Joe, if you are listening, best is yet to come is giving you some prayers. I'll make sure that he knows too. Eliza, good to see you here as well. Well, you know, my question too, especially they announced that, especially since they've announced, you know, some of these joint AI ventures with some of these cool people with this like multi-billion-dollar, initiative that Trump had announced very early in him taking back the presidency in the White House. I would like to know what it is they are going to do and publicly announce and disclose regarding some of the AI tech that they've already been using. Certainly on every one of us. And I would like to know what they're doing in these tunnel systems. Because again, this is not like an uncommon thing. It's very little talked about, but there are tunnel systems that are a lot of major universities and, of course, a lot of government buildings. I'm sure a lot of you know that already. But I did find the AI part an interesting tie-in now that we have flames coming from underneath the streets again. So we'll see. This one is definitely something that caught my eye. But again, we have, you know, some major purchase, I think that was just approved in the last few weeks for some water plant. And I don't even remember the details of it because I saw it in glance. But, you know, they have a lot of these chip factories. I'm kind of wondering because they were talking about, it was a water reclamation site, I believe. I think it was the last week or two that I saw the announcements about it. Like, what is going on with the water? We know we haven't owned like jack shit. God help us if they take over and declare a national emergency. Like, you know, they've seemingly been wanting to happen repeatedly so they can bring in blue helmets. So then God help us FEMA takes over. Because, you know, if you guys don't know, the FEMA, you know, origin was essentially about taking over land, air, sky, water, food, transportation, everything for any event for which national emergency was declared for anything that could cause issues for national security. which is pretty much the same reason that they don't tell us everything. It's for reasons of national security. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes. What do you guys think about all the things that are going on? No, Joe is not feeling well. If you guys could just give him a shout, tell him you love him. Roll now. They have to be arrested for trespassing, holding Trump Tower employees hostage, can't do their job, vandalism, domestic terrorism. I mean, yeah, that is what they're doing. Again, I'm personally very wary of just calling in guard or any forces because we get into some interesting territory. Even under Trump's administration, I really would rather not go there for some paid losers who are there to get upset about a foreign national who's committing acts of terrorism, or at least vandalism, the other things that you said. I mean, I don't know where the priorities now at this point. We know what the mainstream media does, but this is a rather fall flat type of protest for anyone who's been paying attention at all. Captain Brad Fry, good to see you. A lot of well wishes for Joe in the chat. Thank you very much, you guys. I'll make sure that he knows. And Frosty, what happened with FEMA paying illegals $50 million and housing them? Yeah, I know we have seen now people referred for criminal prosecution for doing that. I mean, again, it's kind of funny. You have a like FEMA of all people, who's established ostensibly for the purposes of being ready and tied in with all the continuity of government nonsense that in case of anything that could affect national security, that they're going to take over everything. Again, land, air, sea, water, food, transportation, and everything. And if you go back to the preparedness exercises that they were doing, back in the 80s, revolving around rounding up U.S. citizens, some of those citizens being American gun owners, like some of the political dissidents, as well as a bunch of foreign nationals. It's funny that FEMA has been paying all its money to foreign nationals to, come in through with the borders and then disappear into our cities and put them up in hotels right in the heart of what you would assume would be locations that are, strategically important for, the nation in some of these large cities. But I mean, hey, it's 2025. They identify as, now I guess FEMA identifies as a foreign national, right? Dave Wilson on X says redirecting funds was astounding. Yeah. And then Nuke, that InfoWars journal murder story is being glossed over. Yeah, it's a tragic thing to have happen to anybody. I do pray for him and his family. And the tie-in with, connections to being on some kind of Ukraine, bad boy list or whatever. It's very sad. Now, is anything going to come out of that? I don't know. I know Alex Jones put out the statement saying that he blames the people of Austin for allowing some of these things to continue, and the policies of the police. These are things that we've seen all over the nation. I will, Gammy. Thank you. And then what happened to Gene Hackman? No news. No news lately since the InfoWars journalist was killed. Nothing. Do you think what was an assassination by Antifa? Gene Hackman or the InfoWars journalist? No, again, when we say like assassination by Antifa, that's like assassination by some dark money funny group is what that is. Like, I think the name Antifa is a misnomer anyways. It hits home how tight we are in the conservative non-mainstream movement. Would feel it hard to lose anyone. Yeah, I know how you mean. I'd like to see an arrest, please. Yeah, wouldn't we all? Now, I have to kind of pump my brakes sometimes when I want to go full rage mode, because we still haven't seen a lot of these documents. We still haven't seen prosecutions or even official announcements of, hey, some big arrests. Now the ICC issue, that is a big one. But, justice, actual justice, because you do need to have integrity in these investigations. And if you're going to have these people investigated, I understand. Sure, you don't want to blow sources or show your cards until you have something rock solid. So as they go over evidence, and I'm trusting that somebody is doing that on some level, I do have to be a little bit patient. But it is very frustrating. Now, what's going on with Pam Bondi? I really don't know. That part is really, really frustrating. Emerald, I think, again, had another one. Like, what has Pam Bondi done? We've seen basically zero of anything, no real releases, but she's been on Fox News 42 times. And yeah, so there's a good point there. I'd like to see more stuff, less strongly worded letters, and less media appearances. Because at this point, it does kind of feel like, hey, I'm back on Fox News to tell you we haven't done anything. But we'll see. We will certainly see. We're now on March 13th. And nothing really groundbreaking. There was an interesting, I don't know if you guys saw it, what was it, Alina Habba? She went on and talked about how she was on the Biden soundstage. Was that real? I'm going to play that, I think, if I can find it real quick. Because that one made me laugh a little bit. I think it was it Alina Habba? It was a very weird video. Where she was saying, look, I'm here on the Biden soundstage. And something about the previous administration being disgraceful or something like that. Yep, here it is. So this video, I'll show you here, you guys. This was interesting. And she said, I cracked the case, disgrats. I don't know if that's supposed to be hilarious to all of us or not, but I'll play the video for you in just a minute. She's on there saying, look at me, I'm here on the Biden soundstage. Weird video, hinting at some weird kind of disc class that we'll just have to wait and see. Here's the video. Let me know what you guys think about this. This was peculiar.
You guys, I just finished a show. Look at the room that they put me in. We're in Biden's fake Oval Office, everybody. And I've actually figured this out. I now know why. I now get it. Turn the camera around. There is a screen, teleprompter to the face. All I can say is the last administration was a disgrace.
Okay, now, I mean, I don't know if you guys are underwhelmed at something like that. I would consider myself underwhelmed. Anyone who's paying attention would know that whoever they had up there needed a teleprompter and couldn't really think all that well. I mean, there's tons of people pointing out that they're clearly on a soundstage. So, I mean, while some people were enjoying the show, others were not. And I don't know what part of the show this is. I think we get it. I don't know if anyone in the audience or people who really thought that they were seeing a legit president up there doing legit president things is really shocked. If this video is true, why Alina Habba did it in this way, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the bigger issue is really the fact they were using auto pens and all these things. Because that's really the question, right? Like, we know that this guy wasn't running the country because either, number one, that's not Biden. Like, we already knew that. It's not Biden. Or I knew that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you disagree with me. I don't think it was Biden. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. But you have the different masks ban, and then clearly he's not talking. Let's say that is a legitimate person. They have no idea what's going on. So who's running the country? No one with like any sanity can look at this and say, oh yeah, that's totally Joe Biden just doing Joe Biden thing. Or if he is, yeah, he's a Balchinian. I know, right? I mean, the whole thing's a joke at this point. But let's assume that is Joe Biden. Who's running the country? You have all these things. I mean, this is like, kind of the low-hanging fruit in a lot of ways too. But now people are on X going like, oh my God, there was an auto pen. No kidding, there was an auto pen. So who's signing the pardons? Who's doing all these things? Now, Alina Habba's post has got 1.7 million views. Now, will Disgrats, will that turn out to be some code? Who knows? Who knows? I'm kind of tired of this nonsense. I don't know what we're doing here. Having Alina Habba get up and say, oh my God, it was a soundstage, and I get it now. Is this like what you all expected? I honestly want to know. Are you guys happy with this? I'm sure that there are many people who are just absolutely flabbergasted that this could possibly be the reality, that what they've been seeing from the supposed presidency, and then God help us when they figure out everything else is rigged too, not just the Super Bowl, was in fact all a production. But if we're going to go down the production, I would at least like to see some better scenes. I'm sure they have tons coming for us with some of these high-profile people. But I feel like we took a time leap. Now we've got like flames coming from under the city again. There's paid protesters talking about foreign nations' rights being more important than ours while they're here in our country. Into Bush's A27 says, tired of this fake-ass government. Yeah, for real. Yeah, the really pressing question, if we accept, which I hope all of you do, is that we haven't had a legitimate government at all during this last presidency. And then we assume that anything from the previous presidencies was real. How much of that was legitimate? Because, the Bush and, the Clinton family and all these people going back quite some time, they're not all on different teams. It's not Republican versus Democrat. These executive orders aren't like some reaction to some dire need that the American people have or that the political world stage has. All these things, these economic development plans and the foreign aid and all these agreements. And the scripted reactions to horrible tragedies that they display for us on television, that we know it's all scripted. They've just been, giving us their very nicely presented Hegelian dialectic, sprinkled with as much fear as they possibly can, and looking into our eyes hypnotically, telling us that we're good American citizens while they, launder our money, and they have their, black budgets, and the military and the CIA have their weird systems of control where they simply act like the good guy on the world stage while they go and spread democracy all around the world. While they've been, digital twinning us for the last 50 years. And now they're going to give us health care. So just like with these vaccine shots, like the nice men got up and said, oh, we're doing so much in AI and we're going to give you like Larry Ellison said, we're going to give you vaccines. We are here because the script has led us here. But how much of our presidencies have been real in the first place? If these are all just powerful people doing powerful things and guiding us all to think that guns are bad, but America's cool, so we need to send all the guns to destroy all the countries over there because, you know, some bad people are going to spread terrorism over there, which is how they managed to fly planes into buildings. But then overlook the nice people in masks who've been standing in front of you for the last 8 years, so that someone can get on X and say, "Oh my God, look, it's a soundstage. Oh my God, a lot of people have died. Oh my God, we still have like a lot of our rights being taken away. Oh my God, we still don't have real elections. Oh my God, we're still right on track for smart cities." And then everyone can jump on, you know, their VR headsets and work from home because it's convenient. And everyone can have everything delivered by drones, because you don't need to leave. And then we can go one layer deeper into the virtual reality of this grand experiment that we're all living through. Nuke, you're right. All we had to do was eat some bugs and take our shots. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the tariffs are actually a big deal. And there's a lot of stuff. Truthfully, I'm all on board with that. I know there's a lot of people like losing their minds. And Joe's talked about this very well. But like, I don't understand what you guys, like all these people who are losing their shit and then pretending like, you know, Canada and some of these countries are worth like the slightest F in the world, or we need to keep giving money to NATO. I mean, are you out of your mind? I mean, on that part of things, I'm real on board. I am very down to watch the show there, because that stuff is going to shake a lot of the economy, and a lot of the things that are happening could very well lead to very quickly some huge market changes that would really benefit Americans. Now, you know, I don't know what happened with the gold. The gold apparently disappeared from the news. So maybe they'll come out and tell us that we don't have any of the gold, or that we got it back, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So there's definitely a lot going on. And maybe I'm just frustrated at the very low IQ presentation of a lot of these topics that are very significant, and seeing them permutate on social media and get people riled up while they continue to you know, gloss over some of these deals. And we're still playing games with elections. Tina Peter's still in jail. So I think getting this judge removed is the next step for us. Yeah, what about the diamonds? And be prepared, says Nuke, for supply chain and power disruptions. Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, there's only so much that you can do. But I will say, it's been kind of a while since we've talked about this. Do be prepared for something. Just know what you're going to do and be ready to hunker down for a week or two if you have to. A month if you can. And continue to pray. Into Bushes says, CRISPR, where's my Doge refund? I don't know that I really care for Doge refunds. I would rather they just get rid of the debt. If they're going to choose between giving people a bunch of money and just getting rid of the debt, I'd rather they did that. But, you know, we'll see how far they take this financial restructure that we're currently seeing the implementation of. What it's going to look like, I don't know. But we always knew. Yeah, for real. All right, guys. So keep me abreast of anything that you see on this. I like never promote my stuff, nor do I really care. I actually, just so you guys know, I don't like being on camera much, and I've never really been the guy who like needs to be speaking. It's kind of funny. If you want to follow me, I'm gonna try to invest in social media a little bit more, just for the purposes of keeping better track of what's going on and contributing as I can. But I want you guys, if you want to follow me, I'm at Apollo Pappas on X, and then anywhere that I'm not that handle, it's Apollo is watching. But if you guys, if you see all this stuff going on, just remember that life does not happen on social media. Now, you can find a lot of information about some things, but where are all the weird ops going on? It's going on social media, because that's where people get information, and it is where people connect with each other. So if you can manipulate those places, that's where they're going to do it. So if you guys are feeling overwhelmed, just turn that shit off. I promise you, short of being really, really focused and and moving the needle a little bit with everything that we say and being authentic, the less time that you spend on social media, the better your head is probably going to feel. And if you ever want to really know what's going on, or at least get some cues, listen to your president and those who have proven that they're not in it to sell you something or to, get you invested in the next op. Just look to the people who give out information with the only agenda being to spread truth and to share truth and help people arrive at their own. And if all things fail, trust your instincts and pray to God and listen to what he guides you to look for. We'll see what happens with Pi Day. I know, right? In the bushes, my grandfather had a chair like you. Hey, maybe it's your grandfather's, man. Maybe it mysteriously made its way to me, and here I am to have this moment with you. But I hope your family's doing well. I've seen you in there before in the bushes. It's good to see you over there on Pill again. I'm gonna go ahead and release the scratching right now because I always forget. So that should be you. Your comments are making me laugh, by the way. Yeah, the gas and food prices, we should see a little bit of that fairly soon. But my guess is probably if we're going to see some big movements on like food and stuff like that, consumer prices, it's probably going to be summer, end of summer. That's my prediction. I think gas we might start to see coming down pretty quick. Food, I think it's going to be a couple months. Maybe a little bit longer than that. But my guess is by end of summer, if things shape up how I think they're probably going to shape up, end of summer, we'll start to see food prices start to come down a lot. Might take a little longer, but with the tariff things and what that's going to do in a little bit longer term, I think we might see some spikes for sure. I don't know that that's avoidable at all. But second half of the year, I think we'll start to feel a little bit more comfortable. And hopefully by then we have some more visible movement on some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes. Because we know that a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. And I don't just mean the shit show that is the reality that they want us to see and pretend that, we're a free country and that our vote matters. Our actions matter and the things that we fight for matter. Until we get rid of these machines and we really have some transparency around how we actually elect anybody, our vote really doesn't matter. That doesn't mean I'm telling you not to vote, because our vote does, and it should matter. But not under this system that they've sold us for so long. Susan Rice, gas prices are below $3. Farm fresh eggs, $3 a dozen. I haven't even been egg shopping in a while, so I'll have to go check it out. Last I was out was because eggs are one I like to keep an eye on, and it was still like for the good eggs, it was like $9-10 for 12. So I'd like to get some of your $3 eggs. Well, I'll be praying for your wife. Says, I'm trying to manage my wife's illnesses. I'll be praying for you and your wife. And hey, if you want eggs, I have a friend and they got a bunch of quail. And those things can produce a lot of eggs. You don't need a lot of space to raise them. A lot lower maintenance and space requirements than chickens. Cute little things, and they lay a lot of eggs. I like quail eggs a lot. Mod Trend says gas $4.59. Whew. Where are you? Eggs $6 a dozen here. Yeah, well, I can get like cheapo eggs for like probably $6-ish bucks, but I don't eat most eggs. I'm real bougie about my eggs. So the good ones here are like $10. That's at the supermarket, and that's where I like to look actually, because I could go find some farmers stuff, but that's not what most Americans are dealing with. So that's kind of why I look, but definitely not that low. Nuke, I will absolutely do that. That sounds like a fun show, actually. All right, guys. Well, I love you all very much. Make sure that you're following. We do have a bunch of articles, by the way, that we're putting out. So if you go to Untamed Nation, go to news, you can see a lot of them on the X account as well, at Joe Untamed. And then we do have a Substack we're going to start doing some more stuff with, too. I'm looking at locals. I don't know exactly what kind of stuff we can do with locals yet that is going to be different, but you can go and find us on locals at Untamed as well. It should be linked from our Rumble. But again, thanks for your prayers and messages for Joe. Love you too, Nuke. Love all you guys. But again, untamednation.com. You can text 89517 to get our alerts and all that stuff. We'll send you a text message. And those seem to be working. So if you guys are still having problems, let me know. And then, of course, go on the audio, Apple, Spotify, all those places. It would really help us if you could do one thing for us. Go on Untamed on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen. Give us a 5-star review and just say, hey, Untamed is cool. We love you. Get better, Joe. You're in California, of course you are. That's why your gas is like that. And then again, Apollo, pop us on X, or Apollo is watching if you can't find me there. But I love you guys all very much. Make sure you support our sponsors and get your free Tina thing. Or the axes. We have those axes, or the coins. Those are on special, I believe, on honorboundusa.com. And then, of course, make sure if you are giving to Tina Peters, I know there's been a lot of questions about this, tinapeters.us, and go there and link to her fundraiser. That's the only place that you can donate. That's going to go to Tina for sure. So remember that. And also, I answered some of them on X. If you guys want to write Tina, you can write her. The address is in Maryland. It's just a processing facility. So those are actually just going to be scanned, and they send it to her digitally so that she can see it on her, jail device. And she really can't read them because they're so tiny, the images that they send her. So if you go on the app, on the Getting Out app, and you find her, you can send her a message there, and she'll be actually able to read it. Just don't expect her to respond to you, not quickly, because she has tons of messages on there, and she can't respond to them all because she has to pay to respond to every single one of them. So just be patient with her and pray for her. But thanks all you guys. Father, just bless our audience. And I ask that, oh man, Father, let us see truth. Let us be able to discern truth. Let us see through those who like to sell things to us, pretending to be truth tellers. Let us invest in those who work tirelessly. Let us have faith that you are working in all things. Let us protect those, our great president and all those in his administration, and who are assisting from the civilian side and working within institutions that have massive problems, medical and the State Department, intelligence, the military. Let them be fortified in their faith and their resolve to see things reformed. And we seize the opportunities that you present us with to do good things for our nation and to our neighbors. Amen. See you guys later. Thanks again. Love you all very much. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow.